And online people, can you please confirm my voice is audible or not?
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay, and hope my screen
sir.
also visible. Okay. So as part of our previous session, we discussed about dictionary. And we discussed about tuples, we discussed about list, and we discussed about set. So, and we discussed about all these different topics as part of our previous session. And we discussed about for loop also as part of our previous session. Now, actually on the day, whatever examples I given, I uploaded notebook file also into our Infinity. So whatever the examples I given as part of that class, I given all the examples in the notebook. At the same time, I uploaded that notebook also into the Infinity Andy. Now, if you want to reuse that Infinity notebook, what you can do here is, first step, just download that notebook from Infinity to your local drive. So whatever the notebook file which I uploaded into the Infinity, you can able to download that notebook file from Infinity to your local drive. Second step, what you can do here is, in whatever the drive you are having that notebook file, from there, open command prompt. So for example, just I will show you quickly. So for example, in the bash 20, I am having the file. This is the file which I uploaded in the sorry, which I uploaded into the Infinity. So these are the example. By using this notebook file, we discussed all the examples on the previous Python session. I uploaded this file into the Infinity. Now, what we need to do from the Infinity, you can able to download this file. Once you are going to download in a particular path, in a particular folder, you are having this file. In whatever the path you are having this file, please open that path. In the URL, just give it as a command, cmd, click on enter. So which is nothing but I am opening the command prompt from the particular path. And so from this particular path, I am opening the command prompt here. Now in this command prompt, give it as how to open the Jupyter notebook, Jupyter space notebook. So from this prompt, I am giving this command Jupyter space notebook, click on enter. Just 1 second. She was there. Online people, just 1 minute. Some network issue I'm facing here. Okay. So if you observe here, online people, hope my voice is audible, right? No. Online people, can you please confirm my voice is
Yes,
audible?
sir, audible.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So actually, just what we did here is, in whatever the path you are having your notebook file, so there just you have to give the CMD. With that, you can able to open the command prompt. In that command prompt, you have to give it as a Jupyter space notebook. With that, your Jupyter notebook will start. Now, if you see my window, in this window here, I can able to see whatever the file I downloaded, that file I can able to see here. Indirectly in that path, whatever the files we are having, we can able to see all the files only. But here out of all these files, which file we need to focus? We need to focus on the notebook file. Just click on that. So if you click on that, what will happen is that file will open like this. If you see whatever the examples we discussed in the previous class, we can able to see all the examples only. Why I'm telling all this one from last 5 minutes is, after completion of the class, if anyone want to revisit all the examples, you can able to use my notebook. By using this notebook, you can able to see all the examples, including the outputs also. With that, you can able to perform the practice. Just for that reason, I'm explaining all these things only. At the same time, if you want, what you can do here, in the same notebook, you can able to continue with your practice also. That's the reason just I'm telling how we need to open this Excel sheet, or how we need to open this notebook in your system study. Very simple, no need to do any extra activities. Whatever the notebook we are having in the Infinity, download that into a particular folder. From that folder, open the command prompt. In that command prompt, give the commands Jupyter space notebook. With that, your notebook will open. In that, you have to click on the file which I shared. With that, you can able to see all the examples like this. Okay. Now we'll continue with the today's session. Now, so for example, I want to create a list. How to create the list? Yes, we can give it as.
Sir, one small question, sir, please.
Yeah, please.
Sir, every day you will be uploading the examples, or automatically every day the examples will be updated, sir?
No, I need to upload the examples every day, right? So every day it won't upload automatically. So this is the file I'm having in my local system. After completion of today's session, again I will upload this file into the Infinity. From there you can able to download.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so this is the way simply you can able to create the list. And if you want to iterate the list, what is the code we have to write? If you remember, to iterate the list, what is the code we need to write? For I in X. After that, just give it as a print of I. So with this, simply we can able to iterate the loop and we can able to get the output like this only. Now, for example, what I'm doing here is, I want to create the dictionary. How to create the dictionary? If you remember, tell me. In the dictionary, what we are going to maintain? We are going to maintain the key value pairs only. So I'm giving it as, for example, 101 Sereno, comma. I'm giving 102 was. So this is the way we can able to pass the key value pairs by depending on our requirement. So just I'm creating the library. So I'm creating a dictionary here. And if you want to see type, just give it as a type of X. So it's a dictionary. Now my requirement is I want to iterate the dictionary only. So if you want to iterate the dictionary, so what we can do, for example, I want to display the value for Srinu. What we can do? Just give it as X of 101. If I'm given the X of 101, we can able to get output as a print of X of 01. So with this, we can able to get output as a string. But instead of getting the data like this, I want to iterate the data only. Or before going to the iterative operation, I want to see all the list of the keys in this dictionary. What is the command we need to give? I want to see all the list of the keys in this dictionary. We can give simply s dot keys.
Keys.
Remember, we discussed about this one, Andy. By given the s dot keys, what will happen? We can able to see all the list of the keys, Andy. But my requirement is here now. I want to see the keys and I want to see the values also. If you want to get that kind of information, we can give the for loop like this for k comma v in x dot items. After that, just give it as print of k comma v. So this is the way simply we can able to use the for loop for the purpose of getting the data on top of your dictionary. Why I am giving this example here is, if you remember, till now whatever the for loop we are discussing in all the for loops, and here how many variables we are giving? We are giving the only single variable called as a I. But in this example, if you observe how many variables I am giving, I am given the two variables, and k comma v, because I want to retrieve the key value and also I want to retrieve the value. For that reason, I want to get the two values on top of this X dictionary. For that reason, if you want, by depending on the requirement in the for loop, either you can able to pass the one variable or we can able to pass the two variables, and as part of this requirement from the dictionary, I want to get the key value and also I want to get the normal value also. For that reason, we are giving for k comma v in x dot items. What is the x here? X is nothing but our dictionary. From this dictionary, I want to get the key value, I want to get the normal value. So I'm giving it as a two variables. I'm given the k comma v. After that, I'm printing both the variables, and but tell me, do we need to give only k comma v or we can give anything here? We can give anything. So for example, I'm giving for a comma b in x dot items. Then I'm giving print of a comma b. See what's happening? We are getting the same output. Here, variable names, our wish, and we can able to give any kind of variable. So why we are given the k comma v? Just for understanding, k for key, v for value. I'm given the k comma v. If you don't want to give it as a k comma v, what we can do? We can give it as a comma b also, by depending on your convenience. This is the way. If you want to see the data from the dictionary, you have to give the multiple variables in the first statement. With that, you can able to populate the data. Okay. Now, already we discussed about the for loop as part of our previous class, only. Now in the same way.
So what is this items function, sir?
Yeah, by using the items, you can able to iterate all the values in the dictionary. So dictionary is nothing but it's a kind of a key value, right? This is one. This we can able to call it as a one item. This second one we can able to call it as a one more item. Now what we are doing indirectly with the help of this for loop, we are iterating on top of your each and every item. Item is nothing but it's a kind of a key value only. Now you tell me, in this dictionary, how many key values we are having? This is one key value. This is one key value. Indirectly, you are having the two key value pairs, or we can able to call it as a, you are having the two items, and on top of those items we are performing the repetitive operation. That's the reason, to get the items information, we are giving it as a x dot items. With that, you can able to get the items information on top of your dictionary. Within the item, you want to display the key value, you want to display the value. That's the reason we are given the for with the two variables. With that, you can able to write the code like this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Now see, in the previous class, we discussed about the for loop. Now in the same way, we are having one more type of loop called as a while loop. So we are having the for loop, and also in the same way, we are having the one more type of loop called as a while loop. And now generally we are going to apply the write the while loop like this. We have to give while condition. Then we need to specify what operations you want to perform. So very simple, just we have to give the while loop like this. We need to specify while condition. Then we need to specify what operations you want to perform on top of this while loop, and this while loop will execute till condition is going to satisfy. Whatever the condition we are giving in the while statement, till that condition is going to satisfy, your while loop will repeat on top of our code. With that, it will give the data. We'll see the example. With the example, you can able to get the clear picture. For example, see, I am having again list. Now my requirement is, I want to iterate the list with the help of while loop. So what is the requirement here? I want to iterate the loop with the help of the while loop. I want to perform the iterative operation on top of the while loop. So to do this operation, what we have to do here is, we need to give it as while of I less than, I am giving for example length of x. What is the meaning of length of x? What is the x here? X is a list. Okay, on top of the list, I want to find out the length of the list. And length is nothing but total how many number of elements we are having in the list. If you want to see the number of elements in the list, simply we can able to give it as a length function, length of x, which is nothing but it is taking the length of the list value here. So total we are having the 5 number of list values only. After that, just give it as I want to display print of x of y. What is the meaning of x of y here? X of y is nothing but it is taken the x list. From the x list, it is taken the I value. So here what I will do is first I will define the I is equal to 0. Now tell me, if I am given the I is equal to 0 as part of execution, what will happen? Coming to first line, I value is nothing but 0. 0 less than 5. Is it a true condition or false condition? It's a true condition. 0 less than 5 is a true condition. For that reason, it will perform the printing operation. In the printing operation, what I'm giving it as a print of x of y and d. What is the I value here? 0, which is nothing but print of x of 0. X of 0 is nothing but it is displaying the first value on top of your output. One repetition completed. In the second repetition, what will happen? Again, it will come to here. Again, it is going to verify what is the I value still. It's 0 only. For that reason, again it is checking the 0 less than 5. Again it is given the same 10. Now tell me how many number of times this loop will repeat like this? 5 times?
5 times.
No, wrong answer. Any other answers?
Infinity times.
It's an infinite loop and which is nothing but coming to we are giving I is equal to 0. Every time it is taken the I value as a 0 only. 0 less than 5. 0 less than 5. Second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, 100th iteration also. In every iteration it is taken the I is equal to 0 only because you defined the I is equal to 0 at the beginning of the while loop and for that reason your I value is not incrementing. Now we need to increment the I value. How to increment the I value? After printing the first element, just think it as a I plus is equal to 1. Now tell me what is the meaning of I plus is equal to 1? What type of operator it is? If you remember, try to give the answer. It's a assignment operator. If you remember in the previous classes we discussed already. If you want, instead of given the I equal to I plus 1, we can able to give it as a I plus equal to 1. That is nothing but we are using the assignment operator. Now tell me what will happen. Coming to first loop, 0 less than 5. It is given the print of x of 0. After that, it is incrementing I value as a 1. Then 1 less than 5. Condition is satisfied. It is giving print of x of 1. With that, you will get the second element. Again, I equal to I plus 1. Your I value becomes as a 2. With that, your loop will repeat. Like that, this loop will repeat till this condition is going to satisfy. With that, it will display the data on top of your output only. Just will run this in the notebook. I'm giving simply one list like this. After that, I'm giving I is equal to 0. I'm defining this variable. After that, just I'm writing all this while loop in the one more cell. Now see what's happening. Your loop is repeating. We can do the same operation by using the for loop also, Randy. But you tell me, compared to for loop and while loop, which is the simplest one? By seeing the lines of the code. In the for loop, no need to perform any incremental operations separately, no need to do extra operations only. But coming in the while loop, we need to perform this kind of activity. But in the Python side, we are having the while loop also. Just for understanding, we are discussing about the while loop. But don't ask me the questions, sir, why we cannot able to perform the same operation on top of the for loop. You can able to perform the same operation on top of the for loop also if you want. But only thing is nothing but for understanding purpose, just I'm telling that with the help of the while loop also, you can able to display this kind of data. Okay. Now in the same way, you try to give the answer. My requirement is like this. Display sequence numbers from 0 to 10 by using while loop. So this is the requirement only. I want to display sequence numbers. How to display the sequence numbers from the 0 to 10? I want to display the sequence numbers by using the while loop. Now you try to give the answer. How we can able to write the code to achieve this requirement by using the while loop.
In between, we can take the range.
I'm giving simply see here again. I'm giving the equal to 0. After that, I'm giving I less than 10. Why we are giving the 10? Because my requirement is I want to get the data only till the 10 letters and 10 digits. For that reason, I'm giving I less than 10. After that, just I will give it as a print of I.
Less than or equal to, right?
I'm giving print of I. After that, just give it as I plus is equal to 1. If you see here, if I'm given the I less than or equal to, what will happen? it will give the 0 to 10. But if you want to get the values before the 10 only, then we can able to give it as a less than 10. If you want, we can give it as a less than or equal to also. Now, this is the way simply we can able to write the code. And again, what will happen? While it is going to verify the condition, 0 less than 10 is a valid condition. So print of I is nothing but it will display 0. After that, we are incrementing a I value. Again, loop will repeat. Again, it is coming here 1 less than 10 satisfied condition. For that reason, again loop will repeat. Again, it will increment the I value 2 less than 10. Like that, it will increment the value. It will verify the condition. Based on that, it will display all the values by depending on our requirement. Again, we'll see that. This is the way simply you can able to get the output. Because of given the less than or equal to, we are getting the values from 0 to 10. If I am given the only less than 10, what will happen? It will give the values only up to 9 only. This is the way simply you can able to understand how we can able to utilize the while loop. It's very simple. Whenever you want to specify the condition and you want to perform the loop operation on top of the condition, then simply we can able to go for the while. Can't be able to perform the same operation on top of the for, we can do the same operation on top of the for also. But in the Python, we are having the different types of the loops. For that reason, just we are discussing both the loops and the for loop and while loop. By depending on your convenience, either we can go for loop or we can able to go for the while loop. Okay. Any questions up here? Please ask me.
As per hello,
Your voice is very low. Can you please speak a bit loud?
hello,
Hello.
hello,
Yeah.
hello, sir.
Yeah, your voice is audible. Please continue.
Yeah, sir. In terms of not related to this, but in terms of range, are we we can store it in variables, right?
Which one, Andy?
Range.
Yeah, we can see same operation. If you want, we can do it by using the range also.
No, sir. Normally, I'm asking in terms of storing, we can store the range values in variables, right?
Yeah, we can store it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah. Now see here, so far we are discussing for loop and while loop. Now in the same way, here we are having the one more concept called as a nested loops. So we are having the one more concept called as a nested loops. And what is the meaning of nested loop? If you are going to write loop within the loop, such kind of loops we can call it as nested loops. So for example, if you are going to write the loops within the loops and such kind of loops only, simply we can able to call it as a nested loops. We'll see one example. With that you can able to get the clear picture. I'm giving for example like this, for I in range of 1, 5. After that, again I'm giving the one more loop. I'm giving for j in range of 1, 10. Okay. After that, I'm giving simply print of %d star %d comma. I'm giving percentile of I comma j comma I star j. I will explain this program. Just wait for a few seconds, Andy. Okay. Now, see for example, this is the way I'm writing the program. Forgot about the what is the reason for this program, Andy. But if you observe here, as part of this program, what I'm doing, I have written a for loop. Again, within the for loop, what I have done? I am using the one more loop, which is nothing but I'm using the for loop. Within the for loop, I'm including the one more for loop, and this kind of loops only simply we can able to call it as a nested loops. This is the first concept. Second concept, if you see in the print statement, what I'm giving, I'm given the %d. Okay, in this %d, what is the value you want to populate? I want to populate the I value, and if you see the I value here, I value is an integer value or I value is a kind of a string value. I value is an integer value, but tell me, whenever we are given the value within the double quotes, what will happen? That is taking it as a string value. But here my requirement is I want to print the data. As part of printing the data, I want to give the I value, I want to give the j value. At the same time, I want to do the concatenation with the star operator. Now you tell me, star is a integer or is a kind of a string value? Star. Generally, star is a kind of a string value only. Now, on top of the string value, I want to concatenate the integer values. whenever we are having such kind of requirement in the double quotes, what we can do here is we can able to pass the percentile D and D in the double quotes. Simply I can able to say like this: in double quotes, whenever you want to pass integer values, whenever you want to pass integer values, then we can use percentile D. Here my requirement is indirect. If you observe here, my requirement is I want to get the output like this, and 1 star 1 is equal to 1. After that, 1 star 2 is equal to 2. After that, 1 star 3 is equal to 3. This is the way I want to perform the operation. Now in the output, I want to get the integer star integer is equal to value. But if you want to print this value directly, we cannot able to give the variable called as a I variable. And if I'm given the I variable here, what will happen? For example, I'm giving it as a I star j. Any guesses what will happen? I'm giving I star j here. What will happen? It is giving output as a simply I star j. What's the reason? Because it is considering this entire thing is a kind of a string variable. For that reason, it is given the output called as a I star j. But my requirement is I don't want to get the I star j. I want to replace I with integer value. I want to replace j with integer value. Whenever you want to perform such kind of operation, here instead of giving the I, just give it as a percentile D. And coming to j also, here I'm giving percentile D. So this is the way you have to specify the information. Percentile D star percentile D. With that, what will happen? You can able to get the proper values on top of your output. Whenever you want to get the data like that, then we have to give it like this and D. No, I want to get the same I star j. Then what we can do here? No need to give the percentile D. Directly we can able to give it as a normal I star j. With that, you can able to get the values. Okay. Now only thing here is nothing but we are applying the nested loops. Within the for loop, we are applying the for loop that we can able to call it as a nested loop. After that, I want to print the data. In the printing, I want to give the values like this and D. Now with this, what will happen? You can able to get the data like this. We'll see this data. I will copy paste. Just 1 second, we'll check it in Google. I think I given extra comma here. That's the mistake. Just to check it once. So here, this is the way you can able to get the output. So we are I given the comma by mistake. So because I've given the comma, so we are getting the error. So we are given the percentile D star percentile D is equal to percentile D. What is the meaning of first percentile D and D? It's nothing but your I value. What is the meaning of second percentile D? It's nothing but your J value. What is the meaning of third percentile D? It's nothing but our I star j, which is nothing but by using this, we can able to get some kind of tables like this and the first table, second table, third table, and fourth table. But how we are getting these many number of records? If you see, what is the meaning of range of 1, 5? What is the meaning of range of 1, 5? It's nothing but it's taking the value as a 0, 4. That is the first for loop. Now in the first for loop, it is taking the range as a 0, 4, which is nothing but out of 1, 4, because of given the 1, 5, it is taking the values as a 1, 4. Here it is considering I is equal to 1. In the first iteration, I value will take it as a 1. After that, it is coming to the next loop, and in the next loop, we are having again we are giving the 1, 10. What is the meaning of 1, 10? It is taking range of 1, 9 indirectly. If you are given the range of 1, 10, it is taking the values as a 1, 9. Okay. Now, as part of iteration, first iteration, what will happen? J is equal to 1. After that, we are giving percentile D. So it's taking it as a 1, star 1 is equal to I star j, which is nothing but 1 star 1. We are getting output as a 1. But tell me, in this loop, how many number of times it is going to repeat? In this loop, we given the 1 comma 9. What is the meaning of 1 comma 9? And this second loop will repeat total 9 number of times. Coming to second time, your I value is not changing, but your j value will change as a 2. With that, you will get output as a 1 star 2 is equal to 2. Coming to third one, I value not changing. We are getting j value as a 3. With that, you can able to get value as a 3. Indirectly, in the first loop, your I value is constant. But coming to second loop, your j value is changing from 1 to 9. With that, what will happen? At the end, we are getting output as a 1 star 9 is equal to 9. This is for first loop of I is equal to 1. Okay. After the first iteration, what will happen? Here it is taken the I value is equal to 2. Now tell me, for this 2 again, how many iterations it will run? 2 star 1, again 2 star 2 is equal to 4. Like that again, it will repeat the total 9 number of times, and indirectly 1 will repeat 9 times, 2 will repeat 9 times, and coming to 3, it will repeat 9 times, and coming to 4 also it will repeat total 9 times. Sir, how it is repeating 9 times? Because in the second for loop, we are giving it as a range of 1 comma 10. For that reason, it is repeating total 9 number of times only. But coming to first for loop, we given it as a 1 comma 5. That's the reason it is repeating total 4 times. Now tell me overall, how many number of times this loop will repeat? How many number of times this loop will repeat?
4 times.
4 times. Any other answers? I can able to say 4 into 9, which is nothing but total 36 number of times this loop will repeat. And because here in the first for loop, it is taken the I is equal to 1. For that one, it is repeating in the second loop 9 times. Next, it will take I is equal to 2. It will loop repeat 9 times. Coming to I is equal to 3, it will repeat 9 times in the second loop. Again, I equal to 4, it will repeat the loop in the 9 times. Total it is taking the 4 values. With that, 4 into 9 total 36 number of times your value will repeat. And now, for example, you want to get the data till 10. 1 star 10 is equal to 10. You want to get the value. Then what we can do simply here, instead of giving the 10, give it as 11. With the 11, what will happen? You can able to get all the values properly. Now tell me how many number of times it will repeat. First loop 4 times. Second loop total 10 times, which is nothing but 4 star 10. You are getting the output as a total 40 times. Okay. Indirectly, whenever you want to repeat the loop within the loop, then we can able to go for the nested loops. As part of using the nested loop, first outer loop will trigger. After triggering the outer loop, it will come to the inner loop. In the inner loop, as many number of times are required, it will repeat those many number of times. And after that, again it will go to the outer loop. With that, it will trigger the again inner loop. Like that, what will happen? This cycle will continuously run for both the loops. With that, it will perform all the operations. With that, you can able to get the output. So here I can able to say 1 will repeat 10 times. 2 will repeat 10 times. And coming to 3 also, it will repeat 10 times. And 4 will repeat 10 times. So like this, with the outer loop, it is taking the 1. It is repeating 10 times with the inner loop. From the outer loop, it will take the 2. It will repeat total 10 times in the second loop. Outer loop, it will take the 3. It will repeat total 10 times in the second loop. Like that, for each and every value of the outer loop, it will repeat total 10 number of times. With that, it is performing 40 iterative operation. With that, you can able to get the output like this on top of your output screen. Now instead of 10, I will put as 11. Now see, we are getting 1 star 1 equal to 1 until 1 star 10 equal to 10. After that again, 2 star 1 equal to 2 till 2 star 10 is equal to 20. So like that, your nested for loop will execute. With that, you can able to get this kind of output on top of your output screen. Indirectly, you can able to say by depending on the requirements. We can use loop within the loop. And such kind of loops only simply we can able to call it as a nested loops. So what we can do here, we can able to apply loop within the loop, and such kind of loops only we can able to call it as a nested loops. And from the program side also, if you see, nothing complex here. After giving the first for loop, we are giving the second for loop as per the requirement. After that, here I want to display the data within the string values. For that reason, we are giving it as a %d. What to say? In double quotes, if you want to display integer values, then we can go for percentile D. With the help of the percentile D, here this percentile D we are replacing with the I. This percentile D we are replacing with the J. And with that we can able to get the output. Here I'm giving it as a the notepad. Percentile D star percentile D. So here first percentile D is nothing but I, second percentile D is nothing but J, and third percentile D is nothing but we can able to call it as a I star J. Now indirectly as part of my requirement in the output, I want to display the values for integer values, but I want to display all that information within the double quotes. For that reason, just we are using the concept called as a percentile D. With the help of the percentile D, you can able to display the integer values within the double quote. For that reason, we have written the code like this, and with this code, what will happen? You can able to get all the output like this. Okay. Any question on top of these lines of the code, please ask me here. We are not doing anything, just we are applying the loop within the loop, that we can able to call it as a nested loop. At the same time, as part of displaying the data, just we are introducing a new concept called as a percentile D. What is the purpose of the percentile D here? To display integer values within the double quote. We are applying the concept called as a percentile D and D. Any question on these three lines of the code, please ask me here. Okay. If no questions, now just we'll try to understand how we can able to control the loops. So controlling is nothing but here we can able to control the loops by using the two ways, and one we can able to call it as a by using the break statement. Second one we can able to call it as by using continue statement. So we can able to control the loops by using the two options. One we can able to call it as a break statement. Second one we can able to call it as a continue statement. By using these two operations or by using these two keywords, we can able to control the loops. And now see, for example, I'm having now my requirement is I want to display elements from list X, but after
Sir?
displaying, yeah, please.
Is nested loop and infinite loop are same?
No, both are different. So infinite loop is nothing but it will go continuously. But coming to see here, is it going as infinite, or do we know how many times it is repeating? It is repeating only 40 number of times, because we given the clear information. This is range of 1,5. This is range of 1,11. For that reason, first loop will repeat 5 times. Second loop it will repeat 10 times. 5 into 10 total is nothing but is a 50 times or is a 40 times only. But what is the meaning of infinite loop? We don't know how many number of times it is going to run. Such kind of loops we can able to call it as a infinite loop. If you see the previous example, this one here, if I'm not given the I plus equal to 1, what will happen? I am given in the while loop, I am not given the increment value for the I plus equal to 1. What will happen? In every loop, it is checking the condition as a 0 less than or equal to 10. Every time that condition is going to satisfy, this while loop is going to complete, or it will repeat continuously. That will repeat continuously because of not incrementing your I value, and such kind of loops we can able to call it as a incremental loops. Sorry, such kind of loops we can able to call it as a infinite loops. Okay, but coming to here, as part of nested loops, I am giving the clear information. Outer loop I want to repeat only 4 times. Inner loop I want to repeat only 10 times, and which is nothing but total 40 number of times your loop will repeat. With that, you will get the data on top of your output. Is it clear? Okay. So coming to here, I want to display the elements from the list X, but after displaying the element 30, I don't want to display any other values. So this is the requirement. Just try to understand the requirement. I want to display the elements from the list X, but in the list X, how many values we are having? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I want to display the values like that. But while displaying the elements, after displaying the 30th element, I don't want to display any values, and indirectly I want to skip all these values. Now see here, actually if I want to, we can able to write the program like this: for I in X. I am giving simply by using the for loop, we can able to perform the iterative operation for I in X. After that, I'm giving if I is equal to 30, I am giving simply break. Now see here, what I'm telling, I want to repetitive the loop. As part of repetition, it will display all the values. When it will display all the values, and if I'm giving the print of I, if I'm giving print of I, it will display all the values. Coming to first one, it will display the 10. After that, it is checking the if condition, whether if condition is satisfied or not satisfied. First value 10 equal to that is a kind of an invalid condition. For that reason, again your loop will repeat. It will take the second value 20 equal to 30. It's a kind of an invalid condition. Again your loop will repeat. Coming to the next one, it will display the 30. Now this condition is going to satisfy 30 equal to 30. Now what I'm telling here, once it is going to satisfy, I am giving the break. Break is nothing but what will happen here is, when we given the break, it will completely come out of the loop. So whenever you want to come out of the loop in between execution, then simply we can able to use the statement called as a keyword called as a break keyword as part of execution of the loop. Whenever you want to come out immediately by depending on the requirement, in the situation we can able to apply the concept called as a break. In this example, what I'm doing here, I'm given the I is equal to 30. Whenever this value is equal to 30, then I'm doing the break operation. What is the meaning of break operation? It is coming out of the loop, which is nothing but it will not iterate for 40, it will not iterate for 50, and it is iterating data for only first three elements. Whenever 30 is achieved, automatically what will happen? It will not repeat for 40, it will not repeat for the 50. Whenever we are having such kind of requirement, then simply we can able to use the keyword called as a break keyword. So we can able to say, when we given the break, it will completely come out of the loop, which is nothing but it will stop the loop execution. With that, it will come out of the loop only. So whenever we are having such kind of requirement, we can able to go for the break. Just we'll see that. I'm giving these values, just whatever the program we have written, I will keep it here. Now see what's happening. Print I, first element came 10. Print I, second element came 20. Print I, 30 also came. But after that, we given the condition as if 30 is equal to 30, I am given the break condition. And what is the meaning of break? Your loop execution is stopping whenever it is seeing the break statement. With that, it is not repeating for 40, it is not repeating for 50. Indirectly, we can able to say, as part of your loop execution, whenever you want to break the loop by depending on the requirement, then simply we can able to use the keyword called as a break keyword. Now in the same way, just I will give an assignment, you try to give the answer. For example, I am giving
Sir,
a list.
before that,
Yeah, please.
in this code, what if we give print statement after the if condition?
Yeah, very good question. You will tell me what will happen. So somebody is asking the question, if I am going to give the break, sir, print after this. After the statement, I'm giving the print statement. Now see what will happen here. What's happening?
It will not print the value 30.
Yeah, so whenever it is seen the break, what's happening here? Your complete program is breaking. It is coming out of the loop, and for that reason, this print statement will not execute. It is not displaying the 30. In the previous one, first we are displaying the result, then we are doing the comparison. After that, we are giving the break. For that reason, 30 displayed. But in this example, what I'm doing here, after doing the comparison, then we are displaying the print of y. Now coming to 30 equal to 30 satisfied, but we given the break. Because of given the break, what's happening here? It is completely coming out of the loop. For that reason, it is not displaying the print of y value on top of your output. Is it clear? Okay. Now see, for example, I am given the list like this. Now my requirement is if this list having at least one even number, populate output as is. So this is the requirement. I want to go through this list, and in this list, if we are having at least one even number, then I want to populate the output value as a yes. Okay, now you tell me, as part of this program execution, really do we need to repeat all the values, or we need to repeat only few values? What is the requirement? at least one even number is there in the list, then what need to happen? I want to get output value called as a yes. Okay. Now, for example, I am repeating with the, I am iterating with the first element. One is not an even number. After that, I am iterating with the second value. This is a even number. Now, at least one even number is found in the first two elements only. Now, you tell me, do we need to iterate all the remaining values in this situation, in this requirement? It's not required. So indirectly, as part of this requirement to handle this, so you tell me what we need to do. I'm giving simply for I in X. After that, what we have to do? If I
X
percentage 2 is equal to 0, sorry, then I want to get output as a print. I want to populate value as a yes. After that, I want to perform the break operation. So what is the requirement? At least if one even number I found, I want to populate the output value as a yes. After that, immediately I want to perform the break operation, and otherwise for our convenience, I will give here print of I. Now just we'll try to run this one. On top of this list, I am doing this execution. I am giving print of I, which is nothing but it is printing the data. Whenever it is a even number, it is given the value as a yes. After that, it is performing the break operation. We'll see that. Let's see what's happened. First record K, it is not an even number. Again, second record K, it is an even number. That's the reason it is going to the if statement. In the if statement, it is given the output as a yes. After that, because of the even number, we given the break statement. Whenever we given the break statement, what will happen? It is immediately coming out of your entire program. And so with that, simply it is given the output value called as a 1, 2, and yes. After displaying the value called a yes, we given the value, we given the keyword called as a break. It is breaking your entire program. With that, it is coming out of the program. And so this is the way you need to understand what is the purpose of the break. Again, I'm repeating, whenever you want to break the program in between, then simply we can able to go for the break as per the requirement. If you want to break the loop, then we can able to go for the break keyword. With the help of the break keyword, we can able to perform this operation. Now in the same way, you see.
It will allow duplicates, sir.
Which one?
Like X value before even number, I have repeated ones.
Yeah, it will allow that.
Output, it will display one.
So see, for example, so someone is asking a question like this, Andy. Here I'm having the values like this. I'm having, for example, 1, 1 you're asking, right? And I'm having 2, 2. Now tell me, as part of running the same program on top of this list, how many values it will display? It will display first element, second element is 1, third element is 2. Now 2 is a even number. That's the reason what will happen. Here itself, your execution will stop. It will give output as like this. Just we'll check it once. This is the list I'm taking. On top of this list, I'm running the same program. So what's happening? First element taken is not an even number. Second element taken is not an even number. Third element taken is an even number. For that reason, there itself your loop is breaking, and for that reason, it's giving output value as a 1, 1, 2, and yes. Is it clear? Okay. Any other questions up to here? If no question, just observe here. Comment to continue, what will happen is, if in between the program, if you want to perform loop operation from beginning onwards. See here, in between the program, if you want to perform the loop operation from the beginning onwards again, in that situation, we can able to use the keyword called as a continue keyword. Just we'll see one example. With that, you can get the clear picture. I'm giving for I in X. After that, I'm giving if I is equal to 30. I'm giving continue. Okay, so see, for example, here I'm giving like this. Print of I. So in this example, what I'm doing here, I'm giving the keyword called as a continue keyword. What is the meaning of continue keyword, Andy? So it will go to the beginning of the loop automatically as part of our execution. Now just we'll see that. Just 1 second, and so something is okay. It's my mistake. We have to give 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Actually, here I given the condition as I is equal to 30, but in our list we are having the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 value. Thus, is given the wrong data. Now, just we'll check it once. Now, if you observe here, Andy, so what we are doing is in this program, just we are given the x equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. My requirement is whenever I is equal to 30, I don't want to display that value. I want to continue again from the beginning of the loop, and which is nothing but I don't want to display this value. Without displaying this value, I want to continue with the remaining values. Whenever we are having such kind of requirement, what we can do, simply we can able to use the option called as a continue. So continue, what it is doing, it is not breaking the program. Whenever we are given the continue, what's happening here, it is not taking care of the next lines of the code. Again, it is jumping to the your loop starting statement, and with that, what is happening here, if I is equal to 30, I don't want to print that value. For that reason, here I given the continue statement. When we given the continue statement, what's happening here, whenever 30 came, it is not going to the print statement. Instead of going to the print statement, again it is going to your for loop. In the for loop, what will happen, it will take the next 40 value. 40 value will come and 50 value will come, but 30 value will not be coming on top of your output. Whenever you want to skip the values, or whenever you want to skip some operations as per the requirement, then we can able to use the keyword called as a continue keyword. With the help of the continue keyword, you can able to skip some lines of the code by depending on the requirement. In this requirement, whenever I is equal to 30, I want to perform the continue operation. Continue is nothing but it is not running the remaining lines of the code. It is jumping to your for loop. With that, it will take the next value. With that, it is going to display the value. For the reason, as part of running this program, it is not given the 30. Instead of giving the 30, what's giving 10 coming first value, 20 second value, 30 is going to the if condition. It is coming out of that. Again, it is giving 40 and 50. This is the way your continue will work on top of our Python. Now, by seeing this example, you try to give the answer. What is the difference between continue and break? Any guesses? By seeing these examples, you try to give the answer. What is the difference between the continue and break?
Break statement will end the loop. Continue statement will skip the loop.
Perfect answer, Andy. So simply we can able to say break statement will end the loop in between. But what about continue? Simply we can able to say it will skip the loop in between. So this is the way simply we can able to understand what is the break and what is the continue. Whenever we are given the break, what is happening here? It is ending the loop in between. In the previous example, after displaying 10 and 20, whenever 30 came, it is not at all going to the 40 and 50. With that, your break is stopping in between. Your loop is stopping in between only. But coming to continue, what's happening here? Simply it is skipping the loop only, which is nothing but 10 is coming. 20 is coming, it is skipping the 30 by using the continue statement. After that, it is continue with the 40, it is continue with the 50. Whenever you want to perform the end the loop in between, we can able to go for break. But whenever you want to skip the values as part of looping operation, then simply we can able to go for the continue only. Any questions on top of these two keywords, please ask me here. Again, this is the one of the interview question. In the interview, they will ask the question, what is the difference between the break and continue? Simply, we can able to say break we are using for the purpose of ending the loop. Continue we are using for the purpose of skipping the loop only. Any questions on top of these two statements, please ask me here. Is it clear? Okay. Now see, overall, we discussed about for, we discussed about while loop, and we discussed about nested loops. And within the loops only, we need to understand what is the purpose of continue and what is the purpose of break. So all these are the topics we need to understand as part of our loops concept. So after this, I will give some assignments, and if you want to perform the assignments, you need to understand all these kind of topics here. So we discuss about for loop, we discuss about while loop, and we discuss about the nested loop, and we discuss about continue and break for ending the loop, continue for skip the loop. Nested is nothing but within the loop, if you are applying the one more loop, that we can able to call it as a nested loop. For loop and while loop we are using for iterating the elements on top of your data. We are using the for loop and while loop. This is the way simply we can able to understand what is the purpose of the loops in our Python. Any questions on top of all these concepts in the loops, please ask me. Any questions or any confusions? Okay, if no questions, now we'll try to understand one more concept called as a functions. Functions in Python. So we need to follow below syntax to define functions in Python. So we need to follow below syntax to define the functions in the Python, and it's very simple. Just we have to give it as a keyword called as a def keyword. After that, you have to specify the function name. For example, I'm giving the function name as a add. After that, within this, you can give your requirement. So what I'm doing here simply, just I'm writing a small program, but in this program, just we are using the function only. So what is the function I'm using? I am defining the function by using the keyword called as a def keyword, and we are giving the function name called as a add. In this add function, what we are doing, we are taking the a value as a 10. I am taking the b value as a 20. After that, we are performing the addition operation. After that, just we are displaying the value for c and d. This is the way simply we are going to write the small function. In this function, just we are performing some addition operation. With that, I want to define the function on top of the Python. Whenever you want to define the function, we need to use the keyword called as a def keyword. By using the def keyword, we can able to define the function on top of your Python. Now just I will run this. Now see here, I ran this one, but why it is not displaying any data? I have written the function. In the function, I given the print statement, but after running this entire function, it's not giving any kind of data. What's the reason? Above function is not returning any data. What is the reason? Yeah, correct answer on this. So we can able to say whenever we are using the functions, we need to call the functions. So what we are doing here? Here I created the function called as a add function. After creation of the add function, we need to call the function, and then only what will happen? This whole code will be executed. Here, just to be define the function, okay? But we have to call the function. Here by using these lines of the code, just we are defining the function. After defining the function, what is the next step here? We need to call the function. If you want to call the function, what we can do here is just we can give it as like this. See what's happening? We are calling the function called as a add function. Now within the add function, what we are having? We are having the a equal to 10, b equal to 20. On top of that, we are giving the addition operation. C is equal to a plus b. After that, it is performing the printing operation. With that, you can able to get the value called as a 30 and d. By using the previous lines of the code, just we are defining the function. After defining the function, we need to call the function. As part of calling the function, what's happening here? Here you can able to get the output. How this output is coming? It is taking all the lines of the code which are present in the function. With that, it is running all the lines in the function. With that, it is given the data on top of your output. And these kind of functions we can able to call it as nothing but non-parameterized functions. So what about the function?
Small question, please.
Yeah, please.
Sir, from which point the program execution will start, sir?
Which one? When we are running this one?
Yes, sir. From which point the program execution will start?
So whenever we are given the add here, it is starting from the A. It is going to the add function. Within the add function, we are having A and B and C, right? So we are calling indirectly add function. Within the add function, whatever the lines of the code we are having, those lines of code will trigger one by one. It is taking A equal to 10 and B equal to 20 and C equal to A plus B. With that, finally it is giving output as a print of C. Because of given the print of C, it is given the value called as a 30. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see here, these kind of functions we can able to call it as a non-parameterized functions, and now in the same way what we can do here is we can create function with parameters. So same program, what we can do here is I'm giving def add of a comma b. After that, I'm giving simply c is equal to a plus b. Then I'm giving print of c. Now, if you observe here, what is the difference between this program and this program? In this program, we are giving the hardcode values and we are giving a equal to 10 and we are giving the b equal to 20. As many number of times you are going to call this function. For example, if I call this function one more time, see what's happening? Every time it is going to give the same output or it will give the different kind of outputs. Every time it is going to give the same output because here we given the a equal to 10 hardcode value, b equal to 20 hardcode value. For the reason, whenever we are going to call this function, it is going to give the same kind of output. And now what I'm doing here is, instead of giving the hardcode values, I am giving these as a parameters here. I am giving the add of a comma b. Okay, after that I'm giving c is equal to a plus b. Then we are giving the print of c. Now see what will happen is, just creating this function. Now after creating the function, I'm giving it as a add of 10 comma 20. Now see what I'm doing. Earlier we are given the add function without passing any values and but now we are given the function by passing the variables add of 10 comma 20 with this. What's happening? We are getting output as a 30. In the same way, I'm giving 30 comma 40. See, we are getting output as a 70. Indirectly here in this example, what I'm doing here, instead of hard coding the values within the function, we are parameterizing the values by depending on the requirement. After parameterizing the values, what I'm doing here, as part of calling this function, I'm giving add of 10 comma 20, because here in the function you given the two variables after your function name. For that reason, if you want to call this function, obviously we have to give the two variables. And now for example, I am going to run this program without passing the variables. We'll see what will happen. What's happening? We are not getting any, we are getting some kind of error. What's the error? Missing two required positional arguments. And why it is missing? Because in the function we given it as a add of a comma b. In the function you given the some variable values. For that reason, as part of calling this function, compulsory you have to pass the values. And without passing the value, if you are trying to run the program, automatically what will happen? You are going to get this kind of error. For that reason, here I'm giving like this again. Now see, it is going to run. It is given the data. If I'm giving, for example, only one value, now tell me what will happen. Instead of given the two variables, I am given the single variable here. Now what will happen? Yeah. So see here, this is also given the error. We given the a variable, but we are not given the b variable. For that reason, again it is given the syntax error. And indirectly, if you want, we can able to create the functions with the parameters. But whenever we are going to create the function with the parameters, obviously we have what we have to do here. As part of calling the function also, we need to pass those many parameters. And otherwise that query will throw the syntax error. Here we can able to say, whenever we are going to create the function with parameters, while calling the function also, we have to pass parameters. Otherwise, that program will throw syntax error. Okay, now just I will show one more example. Try to give the answer. I'm giving simply def add of a comma b comma c. Then I'm giving c is equal to or d is equal to. Now see, for example, this is the program I'm writing. After writing this program, I'm giving it as a add of 10 comma 20. Now tell me what will happen. This is the program I'm writing. For example, this is the definition. After defining this entire definition function, I'm giving the simply add of 10 comma 20. What will happen? It will give the error because in the function now how many variables we are passing? We are passing total 3 variables only. But in the function, while calling the function, I am giving the only 2 variables. For that reason, what will happen? Simply it will throw the syntax error. As many number of variables we are passing in the function, those many number of variables we need to pass as part of calling the function also. Otherwise, simply what will happen? That program will throw the syntax error. Okay. Now in the same way, we need to understand one more thing. Function with a return statement. What we need to do here? I need to create a function with the return statement. Now you tell me, by using this function, are we returning any value in this function? we are printing the data, but we are not returning any kind of values. And here we are doing the addition operation. After completion of addition operation, it is just printing the data, but it is not returning any value on top of your requirement. For example, my requirement is I want to define a function, and by using that function, I want to return one value and assign that variable or assign that value to other variable. Just try to understand this line of the statement. I want to define the function. By using that function, what I want to do here, I want to return one value. Whatever the value we are returning, that value I want to assign to a particular variable. That is the requirement. And now for the purpose of doing all this operation, what we have to do here is we need to apply the statement called as a return statement indirectly. I'm using same function one more time. Now just we have to give it as a return C. What I'm doing here, just I'm adding the statement called as a return C and D. We'll see if I'm going to give the return C, what will happen here. Just observe. I created the function. After that, I'm giving C is equal to add of 10, 20. Now see, because of print statement, we are getting output as a 30. Now after that, I'm giving print of C. Now see what will happen. We are getting value as a 30. How we are getting this value? We are using a function. With the help of the function, we are returning a variable. After returning this variable, we are assigning that variable to a particular variable. And for that reason, if I'm given the print of C, what is happening here? We are getting output as a 30. Now, for example, I am not given the return statement. Just observe what will happen. I am not giving any return statement. Now I'm giving C is equal to add of A comma B. Sorry, it's my mistake. C is equal to add of 10, 20. Now see what's happening. It is given the 30 because it is running the function. In the function, we given the value called as a print of C. For that reason, it is given the 30 and D. Now, for example, if I'm given the print of C, any guesses what will happen? Now I'm given the print of C. Any guesses what will happen? We applied the add function, but tell me in this add function, do we have any return statement? We don't have any return statement. If we don't have any return statement, this add function will not return any value. Without returning any value, we are assigning this value to the variable called as a C. Now see what will happen is it is giving output as a none. Why it is given the none only? Because by using this function, you are not returning any value. For that reason, no value is assigned on top of your C. For that reason, if I'm given the print of C, what is happening here? We are getting the output as a none. Now, for example, in the same program, I'm adding return C now again. Now, what I'm doing is I'm giving it as a C is equal to add of 10, 20. Now, if I'm given the print of C, any guesses what will happen? I'm giving C is equal to add of 10, 20. We are using the add function. In the add function, I applied the statement called as a return statement. What is the purpose of return? In this function, whatever the result we are getting, that result will be sending as input to one variable. That value will be assigned to this variable. In this program, we are getting the value as a 30. That value we are assigning to the C variable. For that reason, if I'm given the print of C, now we are getting the value called as a 30. Earlier, why we are getting it as a none and D? Because in the previous program, we haven't written the return statement. That's the reason it is given the output value called as a none. But in this program, we are given the return statement. Because of given the return statement, it is given the value called as a 30 on top of your C variable. This is the way simply we can able to understand what is the purpose of the return statement. As part of defining a function, by using the function, if you want to return the value to a particular variable, in that situation, we need to use the statement called as a return statement. With the help of the return statement, we can return values from function. For the purpose of returning the values from the function, we have to use the keyword called as a return keyword. Without using the return keyword also, we can able to write the program only. But by depending on the requirement, after execution of the function, if you want to assign the output of the function to a variable, in the situation, compulsory we need to go for the return statement. Okay, so far we discussed about how to build the function with return statement, and we discussed about function with parameters, and we discussed about function without parameters. These many number of ways we can able to write the functions. And the first one, function without parameters. Second one, function with parameters. Next one, function with return statement. These many number of ways we can able to build the functions by depending on our requirement. Now we'll see one more last thing here. Function with return statement to return more than one value. So what is the requirement here? I want to write a function, and by using this function, I want to apply the return statement. But by using the return statement, instead of passing one output, I want to pass the more than one value only. That is the requirement. By using the return function, so far we are returning only one value, but by depending on your requirement, you can able to return more than one value on top of your output. To perform that operation, just we can able to write the program like this. See here, I'm giving definition of add of a comma b, c equal to a plus b. After that, I'm giving t is equal to a minus b. After that, I want to return c value and also d value. If you see here in this program, what I'm doing, I am calculating the c value. At the same time, I am calculating the d value also. In the c value, I'm giving it as a plus b. In the d value, I'm giving it as a minus b. After doing these two operations, I want to return c and I want to return the d also. By depending on the requirement, if you want, we can able to return the multiple values also, Randy. Now see here. Okay, now we are giving the function with the return statement with multiple values. Now tell me how we can able to call this function. Any cases? I want to call this function. If you want to call this function, can we able to give like this? C is equal to add of a comma b. Can we give like this?
C,
C,
comma D.
comma D.
See here, if I'm given the C, what it means indirectly, you are expecting only one return value only. But as part of this program, we are getting the one return value, or we are getting the more than one return value. We are getting more than one. For that reason, as part of defining here, we have to give it as a, for example, C comma D, and because in this, by using this add function, I am going to get the two values. For that reason, both the values I want to assign to the two different variables. For that reason, we have to give it as a C comma D is equal to add of a comma b. Now see. Yes, my mistake again. What's the mistake? Instead of a comma b, we have to give it as a values, and I'm giving, for example, 40 comma 30. Now click on run. Now see, it is not printing any data. What's the reason? Because in my program, I haven't written any print statement. If you return the print statement, then only it is going to print the data. But in this function, I haven't written any print function. For that reason, it is not printing any values. But if you want to see the C, you print C. Now see. Why we are getting the 60 only? Because of add function. Come into see what it is doing. It is performing the addition operation. For that reason, we are getting the value called as a 60. Now, what about the D value? Any cases? What about the D? Coming to D, we are applying the add function. Here, coming to D, we perform the subtract operation. For that reason, 40 minus 20 is nothing but we are getting the output called as a 20. This is the way, by depending on the requirement, by using that functions, you can able to return one value, or we can able to define the multiple values also. But whenever we are going to define the multiple values, returning the multiple values, we can give like this. Add of, for example, 40 comma 30. So this is the one more way we can able to write the functions by depending on the requirement. Just I'm repeating. First one, function without parameters. Second one, function with parameters. Third one, function with return statement. Next one, function with the return statement to return more than one value only. So whenever we are having the requirement, based on the requirement, we can able to follow any one of the approach as part of writing all these kind of functions. Okay. Again, any questions up to here, please ask me. Any questions up to here? Okay. If no questions, we need to understand one more concept called as a local variables and global variables. So actually we are having two types of variables, and one we can able to call it as a local variable, and other type of variable we can able to call it as a global variable. Now see, for example, when you see, for example, just I'm going to write a small program like this. I'm giving for I in range of 1, 10. After that, we are giving a is equal to 0. Then we are giving x equal to a plus I. Then we are giving the print of x and a. Now you tell me here, if I'm going to run the program like this, what is the output? I am going to run all these lines of the code from 187 to 191. I'm going to run the code. Now tell me, if I'm going to run this code, what is the output we are going to get? We define a equal to 10. After that, we define for I in range of 1, 10. Then we are giving the a equal to 0. Then we are giving x equal to a plus a. Then we are giving the print of x and a. If I'm going to run this, what is the output we are going to get? What will happen? So coming to first loop, what will happen? It is starting from the 1 to 9 and d. Coming to here, I value will take it as a first iteration. I is equal to 1. After that, we are giving a equal to 0. Now x equal to a plus I. What is the meaning of a plus I? It is taking I value as a 1, a value as a 0. With that, print of x is nothing but we are getting the value as a 1. What about the second iteration? We given the a value as 0. For that reason, is taking the value as a 2 only. Next one, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But tell me, here we are given the a equal to 10. Now, as part of this addition operation, it will take the a equal to 10, or it will take the value as a equal to 0. Which value will take? As part of this program execution, in this 198 line, we given the a plus I. As part of this a plus I, coming to a, it will take the value as a 0, or it will take the value as a 10.
0.
0.
It will take
local
the value as a 0 only, because so see here, we define a variable within for loop and outside of the for loop. In the both the places, what we have done here, we define the variable called as a. We define variable a. Within the for loop, we define the variable a, and outside of the for loop also we define the variable a and d. Now here we need to say outside of the for loop, whatever a we define, that we can call it as global variable. Outside of the for loop, whatever the variable a we define, that we can able to call it as a global variable. Now, inside the for loop, whatever the a variable we define, that we can call it as local variable. Now, in this example, for this for loop, what is the local variable we can able to say? A equal to 0 is a nothing but local variable, because within the for loop, whatever we define, that we can able to call it as a local variable. So this we can able to call it as a local variable. Outside of the loop, whatever we define, that we can able to call it as a global variable. And now in same program, if we are having global and local variables, then it will take precedence for any cases. It will take precedence for which variable? In the same program, if we are going to have the local variable and also we are having the global variable, as part of execution, what will happen? It will take precedence for local variable first. First, what will happen? It is going to take the local variables only. With the local variables only, we are going to get the data. Just we'll run this program as is, and we'll see what will happen. What's happening? We are getting output as simply 1 to 9. This is the way we are getting the output. Now, for example, I'm going to run the same program. Now here, I am not defining the variable. I am not defining the local variable. Now tell me what will happen. What's the output we are going to get? Any guesses? We're
8
getting
plus
output as
9.
a 11, 12, 30 because it is taken the A variable from the outside of the loop only, because inside we haven't given any local variable. For that reason, it is taking that variable from the outside of the loop. So that's the reason I'm saying that whenever we are going to define the local variable, it is taking the precedence for the local variable first. But in this program, we haven't any local variable for A. That's the reason it is taking the global variable. With that, it is performing the execution. This is the way simply we can able to understand what is the purpose of local variable and what is the purpose of the global variable. Out of local and global, which is going to take the precedence, that also we need to understand. First precedence will take into care for the local, and if we have defined any local variable, then only it is going for the global variable as part of our education. All these are the points we need to understand again on top of our global and local variables. Okay. Any questions on top of this statement? Please ask me here again. On top of local variables and global variables, any questions?
Sir, hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in terms of local variables, in which types will it get stored? Like
Right.
for loops, while loops?
You can use anywhere in it. So not only in the for loop, not only in the for while loop, or not only in the if else statement. For example, see here, if I'm going to define while, here I'm writing some lines of the code. Okay. For example, if I'm given the if statement, after defining the if clause, here also we are writing some lines of the code. Now within the while loop, if you are defining a variable, that we can able to call it as a local variable. Outside of the while loop, if you are defining one more variable, that we can able to call it as a global variable. In the same way, coming to if statement also, within the if statement, if you are defining one variable, that we can able to call it as a local variable for the if. But if you are having the same variable outside of the if, then what we can able to say, that we can able to call it as a global variable. By seeing this example, don't think that these concepts are applicable for only for loop only. Same concept is applicable for while loop, same concept is applicable for if and else. All such kind of things, this concept is applicable not only for loop, everywhere this concept is applicable. Within the program, if you are defining the variable, that we can able to call it as a local. Outside of the block, if you are defining the variable, that we can able to call it as a global variable. Is it clear?
So basically, a variable which comes under an indentation section, we can define it. We can
Yeah,
call
you
it.
can. Yeah, you can think something like that. Yeah, correct. Okay. Any other questions up to here? Okay. If no questions, Sandy, so that's all for today. Again, I'm telling. So whatever the examples I typed here, I will upload all these examples with a notepad in our Infinity. Please download this notepad as is. With that, if you want, you can able to recap all the examples, whatever we discussed in our class. Okay. This is one thing. And next one, coming to batch 90 people, mock interview Sunday. As I told you yesterday, for offline people, we'll have this from 2 to 3 we planned, but I will take from the 215 to 315 offline people. And coming to online people, whomever with the names, I will take from 350 to 550. So this is the plan for mock interviews for the batch 19. Other than these mock interviews, whatever the examples we discussed in the today's session, I will upload all these examples in the notebook, and I will upload this notebook into the Infinity. And please do practice on all these examples. So if you see, actually today we discussed so many concepts and so many examples. Okay, so please try to utilize all these examples for understanding. Okay, so once you can understand all these things, Sandy, then what will happen in coming days? Whatever programs we are going to write, you can understand all those easily. Coming to batch 9 people, already you know, coming to batch 9 people, we have written the DAGs. In the DAG, if you see now, whatever the lines of the code we have written indirectly or directly linked to all our previous topics. And earlier you don't know what is the lines of the code we have written in the DAG, but now you can able to open the DAG file. In the DAG file you can able to see whatever the lines of the code we have written indirectly or directly, all those are related to our Python concepts. And coming to batch 20 people also, in the coming days we are going to discuss about the Python program in our data engineering side. At that time, if you want to understand all such kind of concepts, you need to have knowledge about all these kind of Python examples or Python concepts. And by understanding all these concepts and by understanding all these kind of concepts, it would be become very easy to understand our coming classes. For that reason, please understand all the examples at the same time. Please do the practice on top of all these examples. Okay. And one more last thing. Our lab faculty conducting practice sessions. I think I told you this one already. Again, I'm repeating. In the practice sessions, I got the information as yesterday only 2 or 3 people attended. Okay. So which is nothing but I'm thinking all the remaining people are understanding each and every topic. And at the same time, someone given the feedback, lab faculty is not available. So 1 week back, we collected the feedback, and in the feedback, they mentioned that lab faculty is not available, but we are having the lab faculty. They are conducting the practical sessions every day, 1.5 hour, 1 hour to 2 hours only, but no one is joining and no one is utilizing. If you are not utilizing, don't give the comment lab faculty is not available. Lab faculty is available. They are conducting the practical sessions also. Please try to join those sessions. If you are having any kind of questions, please try to get the clarifications for those questions. And one more thing. Nowadays, most of the people are attending online. I know last 3-4 days because of the rains, I connected the online classes but today also most of the people only offline. We are having the 3-4 members. Most of the people are attending from the online. That is your choice. If it is a JOIP, you need to come to offline and you need to perform practice here and you need to take the guidance from here. With that, you can able to get to understanding everything. Now, if you are attending the online classes with your choice, after a few days, don't give the complaint. Sir connected all the classes online. I agree. Last 3-4 days, I taken the online classes because of the outside weather. But today, when I connected the offline, please try to attend the offline classes. With the offline classes, what will happen? You can able to perform the practice with the other members, and you can able to get the knowledge from the other members. That's the reason. Please try to come to offline and please try to attend the classes from the offline. Okay. And with this, just I want to stop my class. And mock interview people, please wait for till 2:15. From 2:15 to 3:15, I will take the offline mock interviews. 3:15 to 5:15, I will take the online mock interviews. Okay. Any questions?
Sir,
Yeah, please.
can you please quickly tell me the topics which we covered till now?
Where in our today's
In
session?
Python. In Python.
Please go through the previous videos. Otherwise, tomorrow I will come up with that list. Suddenly, I cannot able to recollect. So we discussed most of the topics. And otherwise, if you want, you can able to open the course content. In the course content, you can able to see the list of the topics, whatever we covered.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If no questions, thank you, Andy. Thank you all. Bye.